almost forgot to record this morning. Yeah, here I am. What did I plan to talk about today? I guess I'll talk about my friends. Growing up, I kind of didn't have a lot of friends. Like, traditional woe is me kind of story, but I didn't have that many friends. I guess at some points I did, but I did, kind of get moved around school-wise a couple times. Sometimes voluntary, sometimes like, my district changed and now I go to a new high school. And funny enough, certain times nothing really happened, but other times, I was bullied. Right? But yeah, I was bullied, I think, through middle school and early high school, and a little bit in late high school, which was weird. Some in elementary school, but I don't know. That guy, and I call him that guy because there's actually a moment in time that was recorded when my way of speaking changed from when I was a kid to, I don't know, when I became I might have turned 13 or 14, and my way of speaking changed. You could tell I stopped being around my family so much, and I had adopted a lot of internet humor for the time. And if I think about the humor that was going on back in 2013, bro, I was probably on Meme Center, which is kind of it was existed at the same time as iFunny, and iFunny, there's an equivalent to that now, and I can't remember, but I've been on the internet a long time. I made my channel when I know it doesn't say it on my channel actually, but the first time I was on YouTube, I was probably about 5 or 6, and I just watched I watched my favorite game, Super Smash Brothers Melee, and I watched how to do glitches, and I watched bloopers, which are people just using the game as a vehicle for humor, I guess. Machinima, a lot of machinima. And that kind of turned to Halo, I guess Red versus Blue, but I didn't really watch that. I just watched a lot of stupid stuff. Stickman fights. A lot of that, you could tell what I liked. I liked Dragon Ball Z, I liked Smash Melee, and not a whole lot else, man. I was about my shit. Yeah. But as a result, I'm not gonna say as a result of my interests, definitely not. It was more oh, you're fat. And I used to be very vocal and outspoken and more extroverted, and I think I just kind of reclused into my shell after a certain year of my life, and never really came back out unless it's under special circumstances. like I'm around a really comfortable situation or whatever, and the really comfortable. I can even be around my best friends now and still kind of be in my shell, just as a result of like, I'm tired from the results of this week, you know. But I still try to make the effort to make an appearance so that they know I care and I like them. Which, I'll be honest, that's a whole nother thing in itself. Everything seems to be a whole nother thing in it of itself, where there's always something, you know. There's always something. There's always like a stone to be turned, and another world of stories is underneath that stone. But yeah, I was fat. I was emotional. Very good target for bullying. And I know some people say that bullying like helped them. I hope no one says that. But like, oh, bullying keeps you in line, it makes you more normal. You know, kinda, not really. Just made me scared to be anything outside of like what normal is. And it made me, it still affects me to this day. I'm like deeply unhappy sometimes, just the way I am expected to be. And sometimes it's so much that it causes me like physical turmoil, like, you know. And since then, I've like come to the realization that I'm not having fun when I have to act like that. What is that? That's strange. I kind of know what it is. But yeah. I'm trying to get at something here. But along the way, you know, I think I met people I liked, and I kind of stayed with them a long time. I stayed around them, and they made me feel better. Like, I always, looking back, I always latched on to someone. You kind of describe them as your person. In the retard community, no, but like, you describe them as your person, and you just latch on to them. And I've had multiple, right? Maybe I'd have a main one that I'd have all my classes with, and then if I didn't have a class with them, I would find another one, right? Or I'd find a group I could just slot myself into and just be that guy over there. Guy, kind of funny, you know. I found a niche, and I kind of played it. But when I didn't have to play my niche, I kind of just became my normal self. And you know, even through playing your niche, you can get comfortable enough playing your niche to do like new variations of jokes and slowly reveal the real you that's underneath. And sometimes that works and sometimes that doesn't. Sometimes people just want you to play your niche of funny guy forever. And if you reveal the real things about yourself, they're like, I didn't ask for all that. Make a joke, funny man. You know, it's a little humiliating, a little degrading, whatever. Long story short, though, I mean, I made it through. Made it through high school, graduated, it was funny. My friends I have now are completely different than the friends I had in school. They're like, I knew of them. I've seen some of them in the hallways, and mixed with like, how do I say? We went to college together, and I'd see them at the college, but I would never hang out with them. I was like busy hanging out with my old friends, and sometimes, kind of rarely, we would go to a thing, and those, my new friends, who I wasn't friends with yet at the time, would be there, and we'd hang out, and it'd be some of the funnest times of my life, or most fun times in my life, all because it just felt so new, so different. And you might say, oh, you switched up on your friends. No, I did not. I should have, but I didn't. I stayed with them a long time, hoping that they would change into, different kinds of people. My old friend group was, more towards the introverted side, not really too adventurous. A Friday or Saturday night with those guys is you kind of know what's gonna happen. You go to the bar, you have several drinks, you go back to someone's house, you play video games, drinking a little more, listen to music at one point, have some sort of conversation, and then you pass out, and then you wake up and go home, and, because these guys aren't going to wake up before 1 p.m., and so you kind of, if you want, and then if you stay until 1 p.m., you end up going to eat. And describing this, for people who don't know them as people, you may think like, oh, this is fine. This just sounds like friendship. And yeah, it is fine. But that's all it is. It's fine. And the fact that I can say that plot to the night, that plot happened 90% of the time. There was very few deviations from what traditionally happens, right? Similar jokes get told, we're going to the same places, lack of introduction to new people, no one's dating anyone, no one's going to meet members of the opposite gender or whatever. I forget the difference between sex and gender sometimes. We're all guys, and I think we're trying to meet women. A majority of us were. I'm a little different from them, but I won't get into that. Anyway, none of us are trying to meet women. I mean, like, it's like, you can understand why some people have left in the past, because, like, you kind of know what's going to happen. This is just a comfort group. It's cool to hang out, but, like, don't have this be your main group, is basically what I got from the people who had left. And I don't know. As time went on, because I used to love it. I used to legitimately have great times, and I have had great times with them. But, like, as I got older, I realized, like, these guys are, like, not doing anything. Nothing I want to do, man. We're never going anywhere, and I guess, like, in life, not just like, oh, we're not going to the club, that wasn't bad. It was like, these guys feel kind of ambitionless. Not all of them, truly not all of them, you know. One of them, you know, friend of like, what, 10, 15 years at this point. He graduated college. He had a bachelor's degree. Wow. You know, we started school at the same time. He was working throughout, like, and he works, his job is, it's not an easy job. He's you know, he's a plumber. But he got his bachelor's degree in computer science, and I was very proud of him. Very proud of him. It sucks, but not everyone in the group is like him. He's kind of a outlier. You know, he's just for every one of him, there's like, you know, we have our friend who doesn't do anything. Like nothing. You ask him what he's doing, he says, I'm not doing nothing, man. I'm gonna hop on the PlayStation. I'm drinking in the middle of the day. The 4th day this week. You know? Love him to death. But that guy is not doing anything, man. His last job was like, this sounds so mean, I'm talking shit about this guy. But his last job was, oh my God, he's older than me. He graduated high school before me, and his last job was in high school. It just, and he has no plans. That was the problem. There are no plans. You ask him months apart at a time. Hey, man, what do you got going on in life? What's up, man? Fucking nothing. Nothing, man. Nothing is the answer. 6 months apart from the last time you said nothing. Holy, oh, yeah, yeah. As much as I love that guy, you know, one of my best friends, I can't be around that. I can't, like, I can't feel like I'm not going anywhere and the people around me aren't going anywhere either. That is like a truly, you know, hopeless feeling. It makes you just want to lay down and give up and, you know, do nothing. I don't really like that. So I ended up leaving. I rejoined the friend group that I'm a part of now. I didn't rejoin, but like they knew of me and tried to reach out to me, and I just wasn't ready to leave that group. I thought like, oh, they're gonna come with me and we can be a really big group. But no, that was never gonna happen. You have to take these things, you know, if you want to do something, you should just go do it. They're still your friends, but I wanted to be around different people, and in essence, I switched up. It may sound cruel. I did try to hang out with them a couple more times after I had like switched my main friend group to the new one, and it just kind of, same feelings got brought back up. At times I would try to choose the old friend group over the new friend group, you know, because if they both had events on the same night, I'm like, let me choose the old friend group, let me show them I still care. I'd have the worst night of my life. Like, very little exaggeration, I would be mad, and my new friends would be sending me pictures and videos like, hey, we're watching the Mario movie, we're all cosplaying as the characters, yippee, should have been here, boy. Should have been here, bro. Yeah. I was actually very mad about that night, thinking back. We were so close to each other. We were actually down the street from each other. But I was just with, like, people I didn't like. At the moment, I really didn't like them. Yeah. Such is life, I guess. You just outgrow certain friends. My friends now are like, they're people. I mean, they're either working, we have like a good mix of people who are, working towards goals or fitness or careers, or, everyone's very smart. Everyone's like very smart and unique in, significant ways. And I just feel more comfortable. It also helps that this isn't just like a boys only club like that was. I realized I had very little experience talking to women because I primarily just hung out with those guys all the time. And not to say I'm any better. I would say I'm a lot better, but I'm still a bit scared of them. That's another story. I'm going to save that one for later. I do have a lot of things to talk about. And I like using these morning commutes to get my thoughts out on certain subjects. Yeah. Fast forward to today, I went roller skating with my friends after work. This is something I never would have done. Like, never. I would never be able to convince that old group to do something like that. We roller skated. I fell. I mean, I didn't fall. I was actually scared of falling, but I saw people falling and it was like, hey, maybe I'll be okay. Went roller skating with my friends, and then we kind of hung out after and went home, and now I'm going to work today. It really, like, it took a while to get here with them. Like, I have a thing, as like a result of my childhood, I'm kind of like uncomfortable around people I don't know. Partially because of, how I was treated back then. And, when you're bullied a lot, you begin to think like everyone, you might not think that everyone is making fun of you, but you kind of do feel that way. Even your friends, they're making fun of you somehow. But yeah, I don't know. It took a long time to like break through certain limitations I have on myself about like how I should act, what can I talk about, who I can talk to, is it okay to be authentic and genuine? And I had a lot of limitations imposed on me by myself due to the environments that I was in. And through this past couple of years with my new friends, I've really been able to take a step back and focus on breaking those, I'm not on like autopilot like I was on the last group. And maybe it's a result of being older, and maybe it's a result of whatever, but yeah, yeah. I'm just smiling just thinking about them. Like, I felt really bad all week. Maybe not all week, but like, there's a Daughtry tour. That's cool. I felt like more or less, how do I put it? A little exhausted, or I'm trying to think of the word here. Yeah, exhausted's a good word. Just tired. I went out, I think next weekend I'm gonna take a break from friends and family. Maybe I'll just focus on my business a little bit. But yeah. Damn, this is a long one. 26 minutes. Holy shit. I felt tired all week, long story short, and I was originally just gonna go home and like eat, my feelings away, with ice cream or whatever, and just try to feel better that way, disassociate, eat some food, play some video game. And I decided, no, I'm going to break my script and go roller skating. And I did. And it was really hard, but it was fun. It was fun. I love my friends. Yeah, that's it, man. Bye.